Hello everybody, this is Bacter and welcome to a brand new LP of Guacamelee, a game gifted to me by a fellow goon, by Skippy Granola, and I could not be more excited to present it to you. It is this awesome platformer, side-scrolling RPG, beat-em-up Ikaruga kind of game, and I realize those don't all fit together, but I promise you they do in this game. The art is great, the story is madcap, and it is the perfect kind of thing to just quickly play through, so let us do that. Standard menus, as you can see. We're going to be playing the game on hard mode. You normally have to unlock that by beating the game once, which I have. And while I'm certainly no video game expert, and I'm not even particularly good at skill games, this is it's going to be the most interesting to watch, I'll say that. So, let's jump right in. We begin, as do so many good stories, with a knock in the dark. It's hard to say who is who, but I guess we are Juan. We can tell that much already. And indeed, this is us. We were snoozing in the basement. Looks like we've got some sort of industrial apparatus there. As near as I can tell, this is probably tequila making equipment. So you can see we were just sleeping by it. We seem to have posters of luchadors, a whole luchador shrine there, a punching bag. It's safe to say we're either a luchador or very interested in being one. So our house looks pretty cool, I think. This is Fry Ayayay. He's the local monk or whatever. You can see that we're definitely not a luchador at this point. Also, we sleep in the middle of the day and our teeth need brushing. In fact, we are agave farmers, and agave is definitely an ingredient in the making of tequila. So let's just check out the little map there. It tells us where we need to go. So we're going to head off towards town. We are not brushing our teeth or getting ready. Forget that noise. The fry needs help. I really love the art in this game. I just think it's very well done, very detailed, and very striking. This game is set in Mexico or some Latin American country. If somebody knows where it is in particular, like you can tell by the contextual clues, I'd love for you to chime in. Wherever it is, clearly has Spanish is the main language. So you're clearly not a luchador. We've got pretty bad posture if you think about it. And we're here exploring the town of Pueblucho, which is a... We are not invited to the party, not being a luchador, but we do make the tequila. Sort of a play on words for pueblo, which is town, and luchador, or luchar is to fight. So, kind of a sad little story here. This lady apparently used to have a daughter who's passed on, and she kept her favorite toy, a little luchador toy. I like to look at the little signage they have around the outside there, the Happy Hongo, Pollo Rojo. One thing about this game is there is just a ton of references and homages and just little secrets and stuff. I think I'm going to say this in the thread, but keep a lookout for those and post them when you see them. I'll confirm them, and I was thinking about whoever found the most could get some kind of prize or something. We'll see how that goes as it goes on. One other thing I really like about the game is the character design. I think they're designed really interestingly. So the Casa de Pollo here, that's House of Chicken. And there sure are a lot of them. I think we're just going to leave this house be for now. So, we heard about a luchador preventing the theft of holy water earlier. Here's the El Presidente's daughter has a degree in humanities, which is I don't even know if that is a pun. Sort of a play on Spanish, I guess? You don't get too many of those in the game. Here we find our first chest. These things are hidden all over the place. This is going to be a 100% run, so we're actually going to be getting all the chests that are to be got in this game, which is, math puns, thank you. No mean feat. Some of the platforming gets crazy later on. The fighting is really good in this game. It flows really naturally, but it's never the hardest thing. I think platforming is always harder. So here's the local church. This is the Dia de los Muertos festival. I'll definitely talk more about Dia de los Muertos later. It's really cool. It's not quite accurate to say it's like a Latin American Halloween it's close enough for now. I'll go into detail later. So all we can really do now is slowly punch and kick, but not sure enough to break those 6 barrels in one massive boot. So, El Ambassador and El Cabinet Minister. Rey de Roma is the king of Rome, who is, that's another way of saying, you know, a mild curse in Spanish. So, this is apparently a character of some interest, a love interest that we spent time with as a child. She capitalizes grown up there, as you can see. And we have kind of terrible posture and kind of a bad job. This is a tequila maker. I mean, I'm sure it's profitable, but not, you know, the glory we were aiming for. But we apparently still looking pretty good. At least this lady gonna want to spend some time with us. We will definitely be attending the Dia de los Muertos festival with her, if at all possible. So, Fry is just, of course, sticking his nose right into our business. Oh, your telenovelas. I might talk about those later, along with just some other aspects of Spanish culture. Latin American culture, I guess. Anyway, a little fake scare there. So, she wants help moving chairs, so maybe that'll be the next part of our tutorial. Learning how to pick up things, move them around, otherwise interact with the environment. In order to see, we need to head out to El Presidente's mansion. Yeah, Witch lives there. Got it. Ooh, looks like we may not be moving chairs. So I said Juan had some bad posture, and it's true, but look at that heroic run. I like how they give you a close-up. I also like, again, just the detail put into these little scenes. The President's Mansion isn't a big place we are for a lot of the time, but the art here is really good and cool. Well, this is somebody of some interest, anyway. You can tell by his outfit that he's a charro, which is, again, not quite the same as a cowboy, but that kind of thing. His 2 hinge people, a flame man who wants to melt the eyes out of our skull, and some kind of lady with big waving hair. You might be looking at this and thinking, gosh, this looks like a boss lineup, and you would not be far wrong. Also note the mention of Jaguar Javier. I guess it's Jaguar Javier. My guess is nobody here matches that description. This is Carlos Calaca. Note, a Calaca is, again, the closest analog we might have would be a Grim Reaper. That's not quite right, but think about that. So, first boss fight. Alright, let's take this guy down. And nope. Dead. Yeah, Calaca's a little bit above our power ability right now. But this is not the end of our story, because we wake up in a mysterious place. Again, look at all the little subtle differences. You know, the work on the armoire there is made out of bone instead of just gold stuff like it was before. You see skeletons around. Things have kind of a purple haze. There's a chest up there that you can see. We can't actually get to that now, but we'll be back for it. Apparently, we can still get out of here and go to Pueblucho, so maybe we can find out what's going on if we haven't guessed already. It looks like the worlds are the 2 worlds are fairly similar. That one we were just in, and this one. Notice the Calaca posters up everywhere. I guess he's running for mayor, sort of. Also, they apparently still drink alcohol. So that old witch's house was not boarded, but most of the other ones seem to be. And the statue in the center of town of the luchador, something seems different. And this is Tostada, guardian of the mask. So whatever that guy's doing, that Grim Reaper Charro, he's really messing up the structure of the world. And are we ready? Of course we are. Come on, Juan. Let's do this. Yes. This is maybe my favorite sequence. I like how we already had the boots of a luchador to begin with. The belt buckle, the strength, the tattoo, the shirt rip. Luchador. This is fantastic. So, putting aside our identity as Juan Aguacate, I believe we are, the farmer, we are now Juan the Luchador. Sorry for the little jump cut there, as I had to do a couple recordings to get this. Yeah, we now need to save the town. We are much faster, you may note, than before. Our run is a little more action-oriented, and our posture is certainly better. But oh no! The fry is being attacked by a skeleton, an esqueleto, which is a skeleton. So what's interesting is this is just supposed to be the basic skeleton, the green one. He normally doesn't do that uppercut. They gave him a different moveset for this tutorial. I'm not sure why. But we pretty much took him out right away. The important thing in fighting in this game, well, there's a couple important things. One is staying on top of an enemy if you're going to attack them. You're saving the townsfolk, of course. You don't want to give them a lot of time to get up and maneuver. And the second is the W button does throws. Throws are great. You are invulnerable the whole time you're throwing. You can knock over other enemies, so throwing a lot is great. Dodging is also super important. Most attacks you will pass harmlessly right through. I didn't dodge most the first time I played this game, but on hard mode it's basically necessary. Now this is the second type of Esqueleto. Boy are these guys annoying. They're very agile, they will jump right out of the way. You saw how I punched up and hit him down? That knocks him off his balance so he can't run away quite as well. But you can never get a full just straight combo out on them. They'll always dodge away. And anytime you're tied up doing something else, in like a punchy animation, they'll always jump at you and try to hit you. So they're super annoying. Well, we've freed the townspeople, and we can now... I also worry about the safety of El Presidente and his family. We are now going to head to Santa Luchita. And before we do that, there are a few bonus things we can do in the town. I'm going to put those in a different video, just to not clutter up the main video. Oh, the fry will also heal you. That's not really necessary. I can't ever think of a time that would be necessary. That's just a neat little thing he does. Anyway, that jump cut was me doing the bonus stuff. There'll be a separate video with that, as you may have seen in the thread. People certainly think differently of us now. They want us to hurry through the forest to get to Santa Luchita, which again, that would be Saint Fighter, basically. Luchita would be a woman who fights. Isn't this cool, this little graveyard? I just like I don't know, I like a lot of the art in this game, and I think this is really neat. So this is the shop. It's also an altar, which is a central focus of Dia de los Muertos, to honor the dead and things like that. I like that little skull. Now we can get abilities, which are going to be, of course, very important. You can buy little health and stamina chunks. If you watch the bonus video, you'll see that health and stamina, you both need 3 chunks for an upgrade. These last 4 things here are probably the most important. The last 3 are special moves. Suplex, Das Boot, and Pile Driver, and they really, really help with like battlefield maintenance. They're all super necessary, so I'll buy them as soon as possible. Stun Boost is great because enemies require a certain number of hits before you can throw them, and if you add that, it reduces that number. There are also a lot of costumes. Apparently, having played the game once, I've unlocked them all from the beginning, and eventually in this playthrough, I'm going to be showing off every costume. What it does, it's every one of them has like some special abilities, except for one. But for now, I'm just going to stick with your basic Juan costume. You can do multiplayer with a second player, but unfortunately, it's only local multiplayer on the computer version. I think the PS3 has got network multiplayer, but not PC, which is a shame. So there's a lot of these optional fights. Some fights are necessary in the game. Most of the fighting is optional. I'm going to take out everybody at least once in the optional fights, just so you can see what it's like. Now in hard mode, they hit harder, I don't hit as hard, and I get worse skeletons, so you're seeing a worse game. This is the second new kind of skeleton, after the green and the yellow, the red ones. They fling bones at you. They're actually pretty decent size, and their slow movement kind of makes them hard to dodge. Until much later in the game, these red skeletons are basically going to be my first target. Now you saw there that I was able to grapple somebody before the red threw the bone, and that meant that when the bone hit me, it just passed right through. Now I could be doing dodge moves to get through those bones, but I'm kind of taking it slow and deliberately in this first part. That will certainly not be the case all the way through the game. It's fun if you can throw people up in the air and then do this little jumping move. Now you see these blocks, these colored blocks. That's sort of the game's way of limiting your motion until you get another set of abilities. Not sure how I feel about them, actually. I think it might have been neater if they had kept their obvious color, but maybe made them into something environmental, like maybe the red ones could have been stones of some kind, or I don't know. Made it something other than just this big obvious block, but whatever. It works fine. So, no telling who this giant jaguar is, or if we've heard of him before. I like that you can not care about who he is. For story purposes, we will ask. I think we will, seems like he's the honorable kind of enemy. I feel like there's usually one of these in a big bad's crew. He's apparently a warrior of some renown, but even he has been conquered by Calaca, who, I will remind you, is way more powerful than us, so that's maybe not too surprising. But he doesn't seem like he's part of the main crew of this guy, so maybe now we will get our first actual boss fight in. Well, he talks big. Let's see if he can... Yup. Turns out he can back it up. 2 fake-out boss fights right in the beginning of the game. They don't do this much afterwards, thankfully, because I think 3 would have been annoying. But they do establish you as having a long way to go. So I mentioned those blocks before. They're just a way of, limiting your progress. We'll get past them later. This is acid down here. There's also lava in some places. This can really be a bonus, because if you touch it, it just harmlessly returns you to the edge, but it totally destroys enemies in one hit, so you can really use that to your advantage later. So we got our first stamina chunk there. Just like with health, they require 3, and we don't actually have any of the resource that it buffs. We won't until later. But, see, there you go. Touch it and it just returns you right back. So we'll be caring about stamina more later in this playthrough. Jumping is actually a really good way to attack these enemies, at least the green ones, because when they attack, if you're jumping basically at all, you will dodge their forward attack. So you can see me doing a little bit here. In later playthroughs, I might have dodged through that. That might have been a better option, because then you can be at the back of enemies, and they don't turn around to react really well. So these spikes here are nasty. You can actually dodge through them all, though. Notice the little hole down there that we can't get through. We'll get there later. This is just obviously, see, I took a little hit there. Also showing off that the altars heal you. Now if I dodged, I would have made that, but since I didn't dodge, I had to go do it again. This is Tutorial Chicken. He is totally unexplained, but, I'm not going to bother him. Look at, he's a huge chicken. I'm going to mess with that. Dodging through spikes like this becomes a major element of gameplay, especially the platforming sections. Typically, and mercifully, when they have you fighting people, there's not usually much hard platforming, so it's fairly unusual that you'll see a lot of spikes to dodge through in the same places you'll be brawling. Which is, that's just a nice separation of gameplay there. Now here, we see our first arena. I said a lot of the other fights were optional, and they are. This is sometimes they'll just shut off the walls and make you fight a couple waves of enemies. Notice when you grapple people, there's always an arrow. That'll be more important when we get more special moves, but for now it just means you can throw an enemy in any direction, which is obviously really nice. See, I missed time to jump there and took a bone. It hurts a lot in hard mode. It doesn't hurt quite as much in normal mode. But now it's not, obvious here because they're the only enemies, but like I said, reds should pretty much always be your first targets. If just one's firing at you, it's not so bad, but if you get like 3 or 4 all attacking you at the same time, that's kind of nasty. In fact, enemy maintenance is really important, so if you can keep most enemies off their feet, you're doing good. Throws help with that a lot, obviously. Now, I like that you get a piñata after you win, and I really like how all the children are so happy when you break open that piñata. They always have money inside of them. Notice when you defeat an enemy, you get both money, which you can use at the store, and those little red soul things, those replenish your health. That little area there is just making sure you're getting the absolute most out of your dodge motion. Notice a lot of red bricks, indicating we can't go back until we are able to break those. I think those are supposed to be Metroid statues. Not quite sure, though. So here's somebody's hut, somebody who has staffs and other native artwork, a chest that we just broke open and stole all his money, whatever. It's a goat there, and a Chozo statue. Interesting one. Well, let's break it. And the goat's angry. So it is a Chozo statue. No relation, I'm sure. Whoa. Uay Chivo, Lord of all man-goats. And Uay Chivo is really interested in dating our mom. Shut up. You're just a silent protagonist, of course. Well, it's sort of implied that you do talk, I guess. Because of this section here. So he apparently was the teacher of Jaguar Javier, who has been around for like hundreds of years. So that's what we're gonna do, are we, huh? Alright, this is clearly our trainer, so he's about to show us how to use the new moves. What I like is that he's supposed to be our trainer, but we really just get moves by breaking open his statues, and he's so mad when we do it. His statues, you know? He was absolutely right about tiring ourselves out. Yeah, we'll continue our training next time I get a power. I like these little you get power screens. I don't know, I just like the art style there. Very colorful. So, we got the Rooster Uppercut, and as you can see, it breaks right through those. It's super useful in battle. All these special moves are very battle ready. Also, we can get on top of his house now, find a little secret up here. This kind of platforming using the special moves is a big feature of the game. Platforming, and even just getting around later, is really dependent on having those. So just a fun little secret. I figured some of the ones I'm going to put in the bonus videos because they take a long time with bogged down gameplay, but the ones that are just real close like this I'll probably keep in. So, we could go back that way, but why not break through this up here? Skip that thorn section entirely. And notice how they limited our progress until later. Now we've got enough money for a move now. I think I go for the suplex first. That one is very valuable because it stuns a lot of enemies. Das Boot gets people out of your way by kicking them away really quickly, and Pile Driver just does a tremendous amount of damage to one enemy. Now see, I threw him too early there, so I was able to I still took that bone hit. But, you know, retaliated quickly, got my health back, got some money, so it worked out alright. The special moves do a lot more damage than just the normal hit does. You'll definitely want to incorporate them into your fighting arsenal. Here's a first little puzzle, sort of. See, they want you to go through uppercut before you fall into the spikes, or move to the hazard down there. Now, in these long, narrow corridors, throwing is really important, obviously, because you've got this long range of enemies. Enemies can hit through each other, and you can hit through enemies too, but what you want to prevent is if you're just attacking the first person, because all the enemies have this big, long, sweeping attack, they can hit you from the back. Now, we come to our first sort of new enemy. These guys, they pop up out of the ground and have a time period where their leaf, or whatever it is, their flower is closed, and you can hit them with impunity there. Knocking them out of the ground is really important, so I try to do uppercuts. See, when they open like that, you cannot touch them or attack them at all at that time. They're essentially invulnerable. I think even when you have super moves, but I'll test that later. Yeah, this is another time when I said stay on top of people, because they'll dive right back under the ground if they can get up after being stunned, and then you have to sort of re-get them out. Now throws knock them out of the ground even if they're underground. That is super useful, especially if you've got a lot of these guys going at once. Because as you see there, you can grab somebody, throw them, and if he was closer it would have knocked him out of the ground, and then get 2 or 3 of them on the same punch combo. Either way, not too bad of an arena there. They're really kind of easy at the beginning. Later they get crazy hard, so we'll experience that later, I'm sure. Now, it's a lot harder with 2 or 3 of these guys going around, because if I hadn't thrown him, I probably would have been hit by his little flower attack there. Also, the underground guys seem to jump around a lot. Like, if they're at one side of the stage, they can kind of teleport to get closer to you. Seems a little cheap. So, as for attacks, I think I've sort of gone over this piecemeal. You've got your regular forward combo, 3 hits, and the third one does a lot of damage. You can punch up, you can punch down. To punch down, you have to jump and then, punch down. Either one of those knocks an enemy off their feet. Punching up lets you juggle. Punching down just stuns them for a little bit. You've got jump kicks. You can duck, but that doesn't really do much. I'm going to buy my 3rd health piece there, so I get my 1st health bonus. That's super important, especially when you get to the bosses. Some of the bosses in hard mode in this game are tough. And you've got your dodge. Now, the other important thing about dodge is you can dodge through enemy, which is great, because that lets you get to one side of them. If I'm to one side of all these green guys, then beating them is really trivial. Now, this is a first tough combo. You can see when I was going to do my 3rd attack there, yellow sort of dodged out of the way. Now, we were still in close enough quarters at the end that I hit him. That's not usually the case. So you want to punch up or punch down with these guys, get them off their feet so they can't dodge like that. Or if you can dodge through their little sweep attack, they sometimes have a second where they just kind of sit there stunned. But they can be really nasty about jumping away and attacking you, if you're not on top of your game. And here they just teleport in a whole bunch of greens to make sure you learned your lesson about throwing. If you stayed in the middle of these guys, this would be quite a difficult fight. But because I stayed to the outside, did throws, that was my suplex, by the way. It was just a piece of cake. No problem at all. That little chicken there was to signify that I got a good combo. The more combos you get money bonuses and things like that. So here we are at Santa Luchita, Saint Fighter, Saint Wrestler, something like that. Hopefully all the skeletons didn't occupy the town or anything. Well, something is wrong. Oh no, they've kidnapped the El Presidente's daughter. Man, it is absolutely not safe in that forest, man. You are going to die. For whatever reason, these skinny poncho sombrero guys always make me think of Monkey Island. I don't know, they just always seem like a Monkey Island character to me. Or whatever. We can absolutely take care of ourselves, man. Don't worry about that at all. So here's sort of a hoarder's room. It's whatever. Viva Pinatas apparently is the company making all these pinatas. I do like the model of chickens in this game, which is good because they're going to show up a fair amount. Man, there was no way that guy was luchador. Look at that stickly little guy. Of course, I suppose we weren't one either until we put on a magic mask. This guy has a lot of cheese. Hopefully that will be useful, or else we just learned a useless fact. So people are just sort of generally concerned. They do reuse some character models, but I don't mind because I think they're good. This here is the mine. I think it's the Caverna de los Pollos. Or just Caverna de Pollo. Yep, chicken cavern. It will be important later. That's a bonus thing that I'm going to show off in one of the bonus things. It is a... we can't even go in at all right now, I think. It's just it's a seriously tough set of arenas that you get prizes at the end for completing. Notice me using my little uppercut to get around there. Just a little town exploration. Now see, there's another one of those small gratings. We can't really get through it right now. We're not small enough to fit through. But who knows if we won't be able to shrink later or something. So the Temple of Rain, up the hill to the west, is where we need to go. This tiny little mariachi man is missing his companions. So one thing, compañeros, I guess. One thing I really like about this game is that there is a lot of different kinds of Latin American culture thrown in. It'd be one thing if just everyone was a luchador, but you know, some people are charros. Actually, charros makes me think that this really is Mexico. Maybe that's something I can look into. Anyway, some people are charros, some people are mariachi people, some people have beans, you know, whatever. Yep, those mariachi people sure are missing their guy there. Now, a lot of this stuff is bonus, so I will be showing this off in the bonus video. Most of the things in this town actually are. Notice the wanted posters for Flameface and Jaguar Javier. Complimentary choro. This is sort of the hub town. This is where most of the missions take place, most of the stuff to do. We don't have the powers to do most of it yet. We can get this crate, this chest here, which is good. But yeah, like I was saying, most of this stuff we are unable to do right now. And so as the game progresses, you know, we'll return here again and again. That kind of thing. Chicken in the house nearby says he was trained by a goat, does he? Oh, I love these luchadors. El Baño may be my favorite character in the game. I want to see him do the toilet flush, basically. He's my favorite luchador. This is Senor Amor. Mr. Love is what that would translate to. And he loves beatings. Whatever, okay. Thanks, Senor Amor. This guy's a close second. Telcas del Mago. I think that means magic fingers. Or magic keys or something. He's a piano luchador is what I'm getting to. So this is Combo Chicken. I'm going to throw his thing in the gym. You actually need to do the first thing with him to progress, but he just teaches you the basic combos like what I've been showing you guys up until now. And he says the same thing we've heard before, that all the skeletons went to the Temple of Rain to the west. They'll stop you from going there if you haven't talked to Combo Chicken yet. Oh, good. Amateur treasure hunter. Thanks, man. This is the desert. This is not where we were supposed to go right now. There comes a point fairly soon in here where they would stop you, and the enemies are a little bit rough stuff for our power set right now, so we'll go back the other way. That is something to mention, though. You do level up in this game by getting powers, but just as much of that, the fighting is a learnable skill enough that you level up because of expertise, and I much prefer that to just, you know, at the end of the game, you just have a whole bunch more buttons to push, therefore you're more powerful. I feel like I had a much harder time, even on normal mode, my first playthrough, than I feel sorry for uppercutting that little chick, than I do now. So it's definitely a learnable skill, and that kind of just natural learning curve in gameplay, I think, is really nice. So we can see there's still some chests and stuff here. There's still a lot more to do in this town that we just can't do for right now. Keep an eye out for those references, by the way. There's a whole bunch in Santa Luchita. We sure as goodness cannot climb sheer walls yet, so we can't get to the Sierra, but maybe later. And... Statue, you kind of freak me out. Okay. Sorry, statue. Well, you know, big old Olmec head is what he is. It's another cultural artifact, or sort of ruins that you can find in different places. In the real world, in the world of Guacamelee, they function as a teleport system. Some of their placement is just weird. It's not as convenient as it could be, but that's whatever. So here we are at the appropriately named Temple of Rain. There's never any huge amount of backtracking in this game. The worst example isn't really even that bad, so that's one good thing. So, here I am at the Temple of Rain. I will be tackling the Temple of Rain next video, so thank you for tuning in. I look forward to the next time, and I will see you then.